All right.
Alrighty. So we want to thank everyone for joining us today. My name is Phil Flora, Head of Sales and Marketing here at Leopard Solutions. Joining me is Laura Leopard. She's going to be walking us through our latest report and latest and greatest that I think you guys will all really enjoy. It's our law firm benchmarking report and a little bit about a Leopard BI. This is being recorded. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll respond throughout the webinar. But from here, I'll just pass it over to you, Laura, and take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm gonna. Whoops. Sorry about that. I'll take care of that right now before we get going. Well, welcome everybody. As I said, we are coming to you live from our office in Manhattan, which is very exciting. We've been visiting, but now we're coming back one day a week. We'll come back a bit more in the fall, but it's really nice to be back and feel like life is returning to normal, which is a wonderful thing. So I'm gonna share my screen and we will begin. So today we are going to be introducing our new benchmark tool, and it joins the other reports with our Leopard BI product. And we're going to go over just quickly some of the other reports because some of them have a piece to play in our new benchmark tool. So what is Leopard BI and what does it do? You know, we have Leopard Firmscape, which we've had for years, which is a fantastic reporting tool. And that tool is wonderful at telling you what has happened. And what we tried to do was really get a business intelligence tool that can show you what might happen. And our goal is to give law firms the information that they need to make better decisions and to limit risks. And our program uses both historical and current information that is mined constantly from law firm websites. We then interpret the data, we vet the data, we fill in the blanks, and then we fold it into reports that can be used to improve and predict better business outcomes. Data, or the lack thereof, can make or break good decisions and be used to benchmark your firm against your competitors, which is what we're going to talk about today. And our predictive analytics make it easy to interpret the data, and our AI can generate those probable outcomes. And what that does is help you manage risk. Those risks that can, put the firm in jeopardy. So what we're trying to do is help you safeguard your firm. And we can also fill in the blanks when you need to measure your firm against your competitors. So the first tool that we wrote for Leopard BI was our M&A tool, our mergers and acquisitions tool. And this is very exciting, nothing like it on the market. If you want to look at a proposed merger, you can put in your primary firm, choose your merger target and click view merger, and there you go. If you don't know what you're looking for, you can come in and say, I'm looking for a firm in Georgia. I want them to be heavy on litigation. I want that firm to be no bigger than 50. Put in all your criteria. Then at the bottom of your search, all your possible matches will be shown to you along with the percentage of match of what you're looking for. We'll give you a little overview of how many people are at the firm, what their growth decline number is. And when you make a selection, all you do is say view merger report, and that report is generated. Here, we're going to combine those two firms, but it's not simple addition because we're going to be using AI to predict how well we think this merger or acquisition is going to go. We look at possible retention rate. We think this pairing would have about a 65% success with retention. We base all of this on past mergers, and we'll give you a list of the past mergers that we're looking at to predict this outcome. We look at projected attrition. Then we go into all the cultural factors that could hamper a merger or an acquisition. We look at gender diversity. We look at ethnic diversity. We look at the breakdown of schools and the culture that brings. We also look at a JD year breakdown. So what we're trying to do is help you limit risk if you're looking at an acquisition or looking at a merger. The next tool we wrote you should be familiar with, and that is our Leopard Firm Index report. So there are lots of different ranking systems out there, and we believe they all were deficient because of their methodology. A once a year ranking system really isn't good enough anymore. You know, no once a year ranking system can capture what's going on in the market each day. I mean, every year we see highly ranked firms either go out of business, merge with somebody else, and those types of ranking systems just can't keep up in real time. Our ranking system is changed as the firms change, and that can mean on a week-to-week basis. We're also looking at different criteria in our methodology. We are looking at ungameable statistics. We're looking at a growth decline in that revenue per lawyer over a 5-year period. We're looking at success in recent lateral and entry level hires. We also have some insider scores of how attorneys like working in their firm. Also looking at average lawyer tenure, a growth decline in that attorney headcount, and we're also looking at ethnic diversity numbers. All of those combinations we think give us a really good insight of what's going on at the firm. This you can see every week. Every single firm in our database is given a ranking with our index score, every single one. But you can go to our website right underneath that resource tab, and you're going to see the Leopard Top 250. Every week there are firms that go up, they go down, maybe a new firm is added, a new firm drops out. All of that you can see here. And if you follow us on social, if you follow us on LinkedIn or Twitter, you're going to get this information sent right to you, as well as looking in your Leopard email that we send you, our Leopard newsletter. That is now going to be in that as well. So we're trying to keep you up to date. This is public facing. Anyone can go look at it, and it changes from week to week every time we update the database. If you are one of those great firms, then contact us to get your badge. And you can use this badge on any social media, on your own website if you want to, but contact us. We'll send you your badge to say you are one of the Leopard Top 250 ranked firms. The next report that we wrote was our ROI tool. ROI, return on investment. Return on investment on hiring, both entry-level hires and lateral hires. This is a really important metric. We have seen firms go out of business because of hiring too many partners and making too big of a deals. We all know the firm that we're talking about. ROI really does have an impact on your firm's bottom line. So what we wanted to do was partner our ROI statistics, which you can see in our Firmscape entrance and exit report. But here we're going to marry them with the actual costs of that recruitment. You know, a few years ago, the ABA said, you know, to hire an associate, it costs about $35,000 because there's lots of costs associated to it. It's not just recruiting fees, it's training, it's taking away time from other folks to get these people up to speed. There's lots of different costs involved. For partners, we estimate that cost at about $500,000. This is on a conservative, this is a really conservative numbers, right? But if you look at the chart below, you can see the millions of dollars lost in hires that didn't work out. And we also have a key to figure that out. It's not all the same. So if somebody left within the first year, you've lost 100% of your investment. If they left within the second year, you use about 60%. So there's a scale. For associates, we say about 3 years to hit your ROI. For partners, it's 5. It's incredibly important to know this. We also give you a way to help fix where you may be having problems, right? Because you have to get in under the data. You want to know partner ROI, you want to know associate ROI. You also want to know how well you're doing in each practice area. You want to know how well you're doing in each location. This can help diagnose problems that you can fix. And that's why it's there. It's there to help you manage risks and to lower those hiring costs by making better decisions. And looking at the data can help you do that. The next report that we wrote is our connection report, or our connection tool. This is really something that's pretty incredible. No one No one really has this. You know, there are tools out there that offer an empty shell that can do something like this, but that generally fails because they need attorneys to go in and put in all of their connections. How deep can they go? How meaningful can those connections be? Do you know where all of your law school friends are working now? I bet you don't, but we do. And we blend the data from our Leopard List product with the data from our in-house product, and we look for those meaningful connections so attorneys can use this as a business development tool. We're looking at, did they go to the same law school? Did they graduate within the same year? How many numbers did they spend at the firm? What's their work history, their prior experience? Who do they work with now? Who did they work with before? Is it the same practice area within the prior firm? All of these things get mixed together to help us come up with a low, medium, or high connection strength. We are looking at so many things that an attorney couldn't possibly have all the information that we have from people that they can count on their fingers, you know, to put in this product. Super easy. Put in an attorney name, click a button, and pick an industry that you want to connect into, and we're going to show you how to do it. So here it's showing you all the different connections and what those strengths are. And here's the report down below. The very first connection, high connection strength for Anne and Lisa Morgan, who is now working at this company, had worked in the corporate practice area in a law firm in DC between 2007 and 2020. Super cool. She worked with her in the same practice area for years. All she has to do is pick up the phone and call Lisa. She may not even know she's working at this company, but we do. Then we look at indirect connections, which are those medium connections, right? So Anne works with Daniel or went to school with Daniel. She can call Daniel and Daniel can get in touch with Sarah Peters and give her an introduction. What this does is help eliminate cold calls for your attorneys, and it's going to turn every call into a warm call, which is pretty cool. So there's those first level direct connections, there's second level connections, and we are leveraging people they worked with 10, 15 years ago, 2 years ago, people within their same firm, people they went to law school with. So it's a really wonderful, powerful report that can actually help find meaningful connections so an attorney can generate business. Coming up next, firm level connections. So a firm can decide who at their firm has the strongest connections to go after business at Apple or Wells Fargo or whatever it is. So that's going to be coming soon, so stay tuned for that one. The next report we wrote is our competitor match tool. We were so happy in Firmscape when we started listing competitors to each law firm, and then what happened? Law firms said, well, wait a minute, we have different competitors for every practice area in every city. So we said, okay, back to the drawing board. So here we will let you find who your competitors are in Atlanta or in the corporate practice area all over the country or all over the world. And you just enter a firm or find a firm, enter that information. Then you can start to see where you stand against your competitors, right? With 3 different metrics. So this version, I'm looking at a practice area. I'm looking at the banking practice area of this one law firm. So the first area that they have a banking practice area is in Atlanta. Well, all the others are down below. So it's banking, banking, banking. You can benchmark against the ROI percentage of other firms with people in this practice area in those cities. Or you can benchmark against other items like the growth decline percentage or even the firm index score. But you might want to look at this a different way. So if we regroup and don't group by practice area, but group by location, then we can say, okay, I'm the managing partner in the Chicago office. I want to know how all my practices stand up against all of my local competitors. That's what you can do here, and you can do it quickly and easily, and then decide what value you want to benchmark against. So this is also an incredibly powerful tool. Then we come to the one we're here to talk about today, which is our brand new, fantabulous benchmark report. So as we get a little further, I'll tell you a little secret about this report. But let's talk about benchmarking itself for just a minute. So benchmarking is the process of measuring those key business metrics by just comparing them, within your own business or with businesses outside of yours, industry peers, right? So you want to understand how and where your organization needs to change in order to improve performance. I think that's key. And we probably have all heard that old line from Peter Drucker, right? That said, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. And we all know that measurement is key. And the question is how you measure it and what data you have available to actually measure. So we have to put a lot of different factors together because everyone has different questions about different pieces of the industry, about what they want to benchmark against. And then you have to decide how you need to benchmark. Usually there's 4 types. There's internal, there's external, there's performance, and there's practice. And there are many pieces, that should be measured both within your firm and then also outside your firm. And then it all needs to be put together in a way that you can measure it very easily. And you usually have, pretty good internal data that you can measure, but what about external data? What about that external data on your competitors? Do you have that? If you don't, you really don't have a good method of measurement for that external benchmarking. And this tool is designed to aid with that and to allow you to quickly and easily benchmark your firm against your competitors or your would-be competitors. And we gathered the data and we just present it to you. So you go to your benchmark report and you can select a firm, or like so many of these other reports, you can say, show me all the top 200. Okay, then you pick one that you want to benchmark against. Or you can sort for firms, but if you know your firm name, you just put it in and click to view the report. This is everything we're benchmarking against in this report. We have the index score, total attorneys, growth decline numbers, ethnic diversity, gender diversity, partnership, RPL, revenue, promotion. All of these items are in this one report. Pretty incredible, right? When you click to view all benchmarks, then it starts to break it down piece by piece by piece. So the index score that we just talked about at the top of the webinar, you can benchmark your firm and your index score against your competitors. You don't like the firms that I have listed here? No problem. You can X them right out. You can put in whatever firm you want. You can benchmark yourself against any one you want. And then that same change will go throughout the report. So you're continually looking at the firms you want to look at. Growth decline score over the last 12 months. So in the last 12 months, in this incredible 12-month period that we've just had, how well is your firm doing against competitors in growth and decline? And you'll see big differences and maybe in some surprising places. You'll see dips, you'll see gains. If you have to go back further than 12 months, you can go into the growth decline report and get that information there. Notice too, you can toggle right here, right in this little box, US attorneys only, international attorneys, or a combination of US and international attorneys to get that whole firm-wide growth decline score. The next thing we're looking at are financial benchmarks. So when we started to write this report, it initially was going to be called the financial benchmark tool. We thought, oh, that would be great. They would love to do that. And then we realized, like so many other things, it was like the minute we come out with it, we're going to get requests for, well, wait a minute, why can't we benchmark this? We should be able to benchmark that and this. So we said, let's just benchmark every possible thing. So that's what we did. So this is the first financial report. This is the revenue per lawyer. This one looks a little different, right? So you've got a little shadow there on the screen next to that bar. That's because we're showing you 2 years worth of data. So 2020 will be in the red. My primary firm is here. My primary firm in this report is always going to be red, so it's here. You can distinguish it along the way. So you have your 2020 numbers and you have your 2019 numbers, which is really pretty cool because you can look right here and see who has really grown in revenue per lawyer just at a glance. It speaks for itself. The next one in profits per partner, same thing. And you're going to see wide disparities, right? So here profits per partner grew wildly in 2020 at this firm, not so much for some of the others, and some of them it even slipped down in 2020. Again, it tells the story quickly and easily just by looking at the graph. There's really not much work for you to do here. Notice we have a little download button here. So if you want to download this one chart at a time so you can make your own PowerPoint presentation, you certainly are welcome to do so. And we also have a revenue benchmark as well. So here's my primary firm. It's in a different spot everywhere because these reports sort of reorder high to low. So here my primary firm was here, here my primary firm was here, here my primary firm is here. But you'll always have the listing here of the most recent value, and then the shadow is going to give you that historical look. Really clean and easy in one simple view. You get 2 years worth of data, which will show you a trend line. So when we're looking at financials, is it all just the top 200 firms only? No, it is not, because we are using our AI to predict values, but the predicted values work a little differently. So when we are predicting PPP or revenue or RPL, we are basing it on what the firm is like today. How many attorneys they have, what practice areas are they in, what city is it located in, where all do they have offices? All of those combine to give us what we think will be their predicted PPP or RPL or revenue. But that's a current data. That's coming from current data. So that's really what we predict they will have this year. Where we have historical values, where it's not predicted, we saw in that previous chart, it was 2019 and 2020. So this is a little more historical. I can show history here. I cannot show history on predicted values. That is going to be a current prediction. So that's something to remember as you go through these charts. We also have total number of attorneys at the firm. And again, we have history on that, right? So we have history on who was there in 2019, the end number, and then who was there at the end of 2020, all that good stuff. If those are the years that we're showing there. Total number of offices. So I imagine this right here is actually 2021. This is the current value, and this will be 2020, but you can see that with that rollover once you get in there. Total number of offices. We just saw a number of offices open, so that'll be an interesting report to run tomorrow. Then we get to gender diversity. So this is pretty cool. We look at gender diversity as we don't go through the database and say male, female, so much as we say we think this person has a high probability of being gender diverse. And that's what we're looking at. How many people at the firm do we believe are women at the firm? And we do that based on probability. So here, our primary firm has a pretty good score for gender overall. It's, beating everyone else. Here, my gender diverse partners, it's slightly lower, but they're still doing pretty well, but it's sort of mixed up within the graph. So here we see some interesting spikes where we've seen more women enter partnership. You'll notice you can go month by month by month by month, so you really get to track it over the last 12 months. You can also look for gender diversity internationally. You can look at the whole firm, US and international. This is interesting because sometimes the international number is very different. Now we're also talking about a different kind of diversity. We are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of us having ethnic diversity in our database. We do it the same way. We look at the data presented to us and say, we think there's a high probability this person is ethnically diverse. We're not just looking at pictures. This is not facial recognition. This is data points on the record. Where do they come from? Where did they go to law school? Did they go to law school in China? Where in the world are they from? What languages do they speak? What bars are they, a member of? All of that combines to give us a probability score. We started this project and the gender project both with AI, and it's just never good enough, right? So we went through every single record in the database with humans and they had to research outside sources in many cases in order to get enough evidence to say, yes, we believe this person is ethnically diverse. This was a huge undertaking. And because we did it, we feel confident in the data and we feel confident reporting on the data. And these metrics will change as people are hired and people leave the firm. So first is overall ethnic diversity. Down below, we have ethnically diverse partners. The numbers are lower, right? The numbers we just saw in the previous chart for women. We're hoping that that will change in the upcoming year. But you do see some encouraging spikes as you see more partners that are ethnically diverse either brought onto the firm laterally or promoted. So those are encouraging signs. If you want to know more about our ethnic diversity project, we're going to be celebrating our 1-year anniversary. There'll be a webinar about that where we can go a little more deeper into what we see in the data, trends that we see in the data, and we invite you to come to that one as well. So this is interesting. We have not measured this before, but we did it for a webinar a while back, and we found the data to be very, very, very interesting. So we decided to add it to this report. This is, you know, every associate's burning question, right? How long until I make partner? How many promotions does a firm make each year? So these reports let you build a story of growth within your firm or lets you know that your firm lags behind. An important thing to remember is that we do not distinguish between equity partnership and non-equity partners. So there will be firms who promote people more quickly, but it's all non-equity partners. That's a piece of your story that you have to tell, but the numbers are very interesting. And as you can see, so my primary firm here in red, this is where they are for entry level elevation from an associate to a partner. And that's what we're measuring. This is not laterals. This is if they've entered the firm as a homegrown hire, those associates, how long did it take them to make partner? At my primary firm, it's a long time. It's a long time. Then I look at other firms and the numbers dwindle as we go down. So that could be an issue for the firm moving forward. So now we also decided to look at how long does it take, you know, laterals to make partner. So much less, still high on my primary firm. What we didn't measure here was what type of associate they were. Were they still a junior associate? Were they a mid-level? Were they a senior associate? That also can make a difference. That also tells a story. But this is fascinating. Just to look at the single firm itself, right? So if we're looking at my primary firm, here's 2019. Look how it jumped in 2020. Yeah, 2020 was a weird year, right? It's still really high in 2021. So all of that is fascinating stuff. And you know, recruiters are going to be using this information to try to get people to move to another firm, or recruiters can be using it to say, yeah, you're in a great spot, or I've got some candidates I'm pitching to this firm because they have a great path to partnership. You could do the same thing in your recruitment. These are numbers you can use and you can manage. Because you can drop out firms that you need to drop out, there are ways to make yourself look a bit better. But if you really want a good indication of how you measure up against your competitors, this is a great way to do it. And know what kind of story you need to craft to tell the story that you want those potential recruits to hear. Promotion numbers, also an important metric. How many associates are promoted to partner? And again, you can look at US, you can look at international, you can look at the whole firm. And you know, one of these might make you look better than the others, but it's good to know, really good to know where you stand in the market, because there will be other people telling this story. ROI. So we talked about that in the full report a while back to help you sort of diagnose, where you are with your hires in comparison to your competitors. This is focusing really on the last 12 months. As you see here, it's the last 12 months. This is the same metric that we use for our Leopard Firm Index report. So here you can come in, and we do think that recent hires, as opposed to finding out your ROI back in 2017, what's happening now is important, because if you have a really bad number for your entry-level hires, currently, you've got a problem that you need to fix, and we can help you figure out what that problem is by several of our reports, but it's something that you need to know. What's also good is being able to easily benchmark your firm against your competitors, because then you can take it to your hiring partner, you can take it to your CEO and say, we have a problem and this is where we think it is. And this tells you or shows you clearly there's a problem that we need to solve. Or you can say, we're doing great. We're doing so much better than all of our competitors. So but knowing the reality is helpful for everyone. So here we're looking at entry-level ROI, and at the bottom is the lateral ROI. And sometimes you will see completely inverse numbers, like they do really well on entry level, really bad on laterals, and sometimes it's the opposite. But knowing how well your competitors do here is really super important. So this benchmarking tool is looking at a score of data and helping you to benchmark against who we think your competitors are, who you think your competitors are, and it's laying it out for you quickly, easily, in digestible bites, and in a way that you can drop into a PowerPoint and take to your own leadership. This will be live tomorrow. Everyone that has access to the Leopard BI suite, just go right into your dashboard, click on or roll over the BI suite, and then go right into the benchmark tool. This is now free to several of our customers. That will be going away. At the end of this month, this product will no longer be in this beta form, and it will go on sale. I hope you find these reports useful. There is still special beta pricing until September. So even though these reports will no longer be available at no cost to several of our customers, it will be for sale at a slightly reduced price in August, and then it will be out of beta in September. I think we have 2 more reports that are going to be joining the Leopard BI suite but before September, so there'll be a couple more webinars to tell you what those are. We think this is an incredibly powerful tool, and there are some great reports on the way. So please stay tuned. If your questions, your comments, suggestions for future reports, all of that is incredibly important to us. We want to give you what you need. We want to make your life easier, and we want to give you data that you don't have to help you do better and make better decisions. So thanks so much.
Yeah. And real quick, I was just responding to someone's question on there. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to shoot them over, or you can reach out to us. We're going to be following up the webinar with a recording. We also, anyone that registered would be able to get a free custom report. So that's generally the best way to get a feel for the data that's in there. You just kind of tell us what you're looking for, and we can put together a little custom report and kind of show you the data and provide it to you that way. Also going to drop into the chat the upcoming webinar that we're doing on August 3rd. For those, we'd love to have you guys join. It's going to be on mergers and acquisitions and the considerations firms need to take when they want to look for a merger. We're going to have a great panel. We're going to have Wendy Bonero, Kent Zimmerman from Zeugerhauser Group, Stephanie Marone, and Laura. And we're also pulling in a couple other folks as well, some surprise guests. So feel free to register for that as well. And again, if anyone has any questions, about the Leopard BI, the tools, or anything related to Leopard Solutions, just reach out to us, and we're here to help. So I don't think we have any other questions in the chat. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Laura, for putting everything together. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks. Bye-bye.